So I only have 15 minutes, and if you haven't ever seen anything about distributed electric propulsion before, I can't tell you everything that you need to know. All I can do is give you a quick introduction of the big picture. And right away, right on the title slide, you've got to know that this is about breakthrough capabilities. So we're not talking about incrementalism, but about radical breakthroughs in what the vehicles can do. And so right off the bat, you see these goals, and you may say, wow, these are outlandish goals. As Dennis, in fact, even says. And if Dennis says they're outlandish, oh my gosh, they're crazy, right? In fact, these are conservative goals, which I am highly confident we're going to be able to meet, because that's how enabling distributed electric propulsion is. But please realize this, because most people, and this is where Dennis and I are, in fact, even butting heads, most people want you to be able to show a technology widget that you put in as a replacement for another current technology, and you can show a clear difference, right? That's how we usually do systems analysis. I've done systems analysis my entire 30-year career at NASA. I love it when I can do that. This is different. Distributed electric propulsion is an integration technology. It is not a discipline technology. It is a very, very powerful integration technology. It changes the acoustics. It changes the way you do control and what you can get out of control. It changes the performance. It changes the structure. It touches every single discipline. And that is why it is such a fantastic grand challenge problem, because it is very difficult to do this kind of highly coupled, detailed, multidisciplinary collaboration. And it is a perfect problem for a research center like Langley, which is where we own integration, right? So again, very, very, the appearance of aggressive goals, but as long as you're willing to accept relatively short ranges and high utilization of the vehicles, in fact, we can accomplish all of these and probably much more. And in fact, if you look at transportation and where people travel, the vast majority are within these kind of ranges of 200 to 400 miles. We're not talking about transcontinental transports, at least not yet. But very early on, we're going to be able to show the path towards feasible products. So I want to mention a little bit of, this is about distributed electric propulsion, but I want to mention a little bit as a follow-on to what Steve mentioned about on-demand mobility. It is an incredible opportunity area for NASA Langley and all of the NASA centers. You're seeing here several of the different places, all the different missions that relate to on-demand mobility. All the way down to small UAS that are going to be able to deliver packages. And it's not just me saying that. It's Google, it's Amazon, it's FedEx. On-demand capability to get what you want, when you want, anywhere. Incredible capability if we can reach it. And that doesn't just mean at this small 55-pound size for a vehicle that can deliver 5 pounds. It is moving up to carrying us. And this idea of a hypercommuter PAV, a gridlock commuter, something that could take 1 or 2 people and be used in everyday transportation. And in fact, if you question that market and whether there's an early adopter market for that, realize 600,000 people in the United States today commute more than 200 miles each day. Now you tell me they don't want a vehicle that can get them 4 times their average speed? Zip Aviation. So we've really, I guess I'll end the slide with this, and that is there's many different exciting vehicles for this technology to fit into. I can prove to you that this is a fantastic opportunity for NASA and for NASA Langley because of this. If you look at that first vehicle, with less than $1 million of B&P and IRAD and nickels and dimes that we've been able to attract, we've brought in over $2 million from a cost-sharing partner. And for the next one below, in fact, if you're interested in that, we're just starting a study with one of the major automotive companies where they're bringing in more money than us to look at exactly that vehicle for this crazy flying car kind of mission, which you'd never want to look at unless you had fundamentally new technologies that could change what these vehicles can do. For Zip Aviation, likewise, we have a cost-sharing partner now for the CAS demonstrator that's bringing in $1.5 million to augment what we're doing. So essentially, this capture plan that we're all trying to have across the different centers of bringing in new business, it is very hard because many companies want incrementalism, right? What can drive their next immediate product? And they don't want to embrace this high risk. The beautiful thing about on-demand mobility and having this new technology is, again, I can prove to you that there's people willing to bring in money, more money than us, and go for breakthrough capabilities and push for these products. So it's very, very important that we understand not only, we don't just stay in our technology sandbox, but that we push to understand the market and customer needs so that we can bring in these resources and solve their problems very effectively with fantastic new technologies. So the last thing I'm going to say about on-demand aviation, Steve showed this slide of all the reasons why on-demand aviation hasn't taken place so far. But the really exciting thing is that these two new technology frontiers fundamentally change their feasibility. Autonomy and distributed electric propulsion address every one of these major problem areas, and in very, very breakthrough manners. And you combine them together, and truly we will have new societal capabilities. So we've been working, as Steve mentioned, in a spiral development way, because this is really a new technology. And instead of developing engineering in PowerPoint presentations, we've wanted to get our feet wet and get it into the hardware. So actually, let me show one of the latest videos from two of our stars who have been pushing spiral development, Bill Fredericks and Dave North, where they have gotten the GL10 into a free flight hover. Hopefully that'll spool up. And in fact, hopefully you'll be able to hear a little bit of it too. So essentially, we've been trying to do rapid analysis, link into customer needs for breakthrough capabilities. Specifically, the small vehicle is trying to achieve a 4 times improvement in aerodynamic cruise efficiency from what a current helicopter could do. I'm just going to bring down the noise a little bit. Sorry about that. Don't want it to be too loud. So again, we're able to attract new customers, but still go after the high-risk breakthrough capabilities that we're interested in. Likewise, with our current effort in this FY14, where we had this crazy idea with Armstrong to be able to, at full scale, take a $600,000 team seedling and actually build a mobile ground rig and a 31-foot span wing with 300 horsepower. Now, you try doing that with $600,000. That's pretty hard, but actually, we built the wing, we built the truck, and the reason we were able to do that is because these customers were willing to bring in their resources to achieve this breakthrough capability. Likewise, with the CAS demonstrator, again, we're able to attract these cost-sharing partners because of the inherent nature of these compelling technologies. So very much we've been focused on being able to achieve this rapid spiral development, which is difficult for NASA. It's not how we typically do business. And by marrying ourselves to these other customers and small companies, we're able to achieve much more agility than perhaps NASA is able to do on its own. Now, I'll just say one more word about this spiral development, and that is, especially for on-demand mobility, there's this fantastic opportunity for us, instead of talking about distributed electric propulsion, maybe working its way into the fleet in 15 years, and maybe being able to certify it in 10 to 20 years, that we can actually, probably within the next 5 years, get to the first breakthrough product that utilizes distributed electric propulsion. And it's not just us realizing that. In fact, each of these 4 pictures are from Airbus electric propulsion demonstrators. And Airbus has already announced that, in fact, for that one on the lower right, the E-fan, they are going into production with a general aviation electric aircraft. Why would Airbus be doing that? They're Airbus. They care about transports. It's because it's letting them exercise this rapid spiral development and even get to the point where they have operational experiences with lithium batteries and electric propulsors. And instead of being bitten in the butt by these radical new technologies, like the 787 was with lithium batteries, but at smaller scale, they can work out all of the issues with minimal consequence and establish the certification basis. That is what's so powerful about this connection between distributed electric propulsion, spiral development, and future certification standards for them. So we mentioned this is what we're doing this year. We're really excited because we've built almost all of the hardware. We've been doing component tests, and by January, with our partners at Armstrong, we will be driving this 27,000-pound tractor-trailer rig with the wing 22 feet off the ground, and we will be collecting data. And if we had done that in the NFAC, well, the cost of the NFAC alone would have swallowed our entire budget. And we're confident that we can have less than 3% error in terms of the lift and integrated lift and moments, and be able to validate the CFD for the high lift aeropropulsive coupling. The big picture of how we're integrating this specific instance of distributed electric propulsion. We're not saying this is the only way you want to do it. In fact, the wonderful thing about distributed electric propulsion, it is completely removing the constraints and opening up design space. There's so many ways that we want to integrate this. This is just one way where we've highly coupled those propellers to essentially create a high lift system using those propellers, where they have this high induced velocity that's letting us size down the wing and get to this super efficient high-speed cruise. Now, again, when you see that goal of being able to achieve a 10 times reduction in the energy cost, you go, that's not even possible, right? Well, actually, it's even better than that, because it's not just a reduction in the cost, it's a reduction in the volatility of that cost. So wouldn't you rather, if you had to buy fuel for a major fleet, wouldn't you rather buy fuel at that blue line instead of that red line? Well, that blue line is what the electricity rates are, with annual variation between the seasons. That red line is the cost of gasoline. Huge volatility. As we can move to renewable sources of electricity, we're able to, again, not only achieve a dramatically lower cost, but a less volatility. And it's better than that, because if you look at reciprocating engines or turbine engines, the best turbine engines are about 44%. We have motors that we're testing right now at 97% efficiency. So greater than 2 times efficiency in the motors alone, and when you integrate them, you can get even more efficiency across the system. So essentially what we're able to do at the general aviation and even the 737 size scale is achieve this 10 times reduction in the cost of the energy. Now, if you're completely honest and you amortize the batteries, which have a limited cycle life, it's still 4 to 5 times. Drastic reductions in what you can achieve. But this isn't just about on-demand mobility. It's how these technologies can be demonstrated, achieve an early adopter market and a certification basis, and work their way up into the fleet. Because that is where most of the revenue passenger miles exist, and that is what we want to achieve impact in terms of achieving really low carbon emissions, but with an incentive for industry to go to those low carbon emissions by incentivizing them with very, very low operating costs. So I'm going to have to finish it there, but we have bold plans that we can take this technology by 2025 to the regional transport market with turboprops, and with range extenders have 500 to 600 mile ranges, which is where most of the trips take place with a 737. And I think it's a really exciting future. Now, if we've left you out, don't despair, because again, distributed electric propulsion wants to touch every single discipline expert in this room. Now, we started with the aero guys. Then we went to the acoustic guys and the controls guys. Now we're partnering with the structure and aeroelastics guys. This begs for partnerships across all of our disciplines and for us to be working together. We need to start working with the materials guys. We need to start working with across all of these areas to have really maximize what distributed electric propulsion can do. It's a fantastic opportunity for NASA Langley and NASA generally to be a pioneering leader. It is probably the best opportunity between autonomy and electric propulsion to achieve truly breakthrough capabilities. Thanks very much for your time.